All right, hotties, it's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast. And buckle up, this is your January 2026 long form podcast. Recommend you get yourself a cup of tea, settle in. 2026, this is going to be a Wheel of Fortune year, a 10 year. And you're going to hear a lot of people talk about this. You're going to hear a lot of people talking about the coming Lunar New Year, the fire horse, the moving from the wood snake to the fire horse, moving from the 9 to the 10, moving from 25 to 26, and it should feel good. The movement from the 9 is a year of deep contraction, healing, shedding, consolidation, like reworking what you thought you knew, trying to figure out who you are now in this new, hopefully healthier, more whole, more integral place. What do I want now? Now that I'm not letting my wounds run the show, now that I've learned what I've learned, who do I want to be in this year ahead? And the Wheel of Fortune is going to turn the world to meet you. So we say the wheel always turns in your favor, but at the very least, the world is going to shift. The terrain is going to shift under your feet. You'll find yourself in new places with new people, new communities, new experiences, new endeavors. And that is because there is momentum, there's movement. If the 9 year was a year of contraction, the 10 year is a year of expansion. Like the Wheel of Fortune just expands your terrain, it expands your world. And I will say, and you guys have heard me say already, the 1 and the 0 is a very potent conversation between yourself, your magician, your clarity, your polarity, between heaven and earth, like the stillness of you, the individual in you, and the 0, which is the divine, the universe, your co-creative partner in yourself, your future self, and in the world. And the 0 is God's protection. It is the like cocoon that is wrapped around you from source, saying, I got you, I'm going to protect you. You're moving, the ground is changing, but this is a safe passage, this is a safe endeavor. Like I said before, it's like having the condor wings, the great condor wings wrapped around you. We say condor protecting us in the nest of our becoming until he kicks us out, but that's for another time. So we're talking about the 1, the clarity, the 0, the movement, the Ouroboros, the nothing really is beginning or ending. The 1 is I want to begin, like I want to be recognized as an individual. I want to be recognized in my power. I want to work my power. I want to move the world according to my will. There's this intimate conversation between you and you around what can I do with what I have. And the 0 is this idea of being protected in that, being adored in that desire, like that unconditional love from the universe, being like, look at you, you little human with all your big dreams and plans. Like, I just can't wait to support you. I love you so much. So it's a really beautiful conversation. I would imagine in a 10 year, in a Wheel of Fortune year, you're going to see your world, like I said, expand and shift. And the only real challenge with this energy, it has a Jupiter kind of energy to it, which is normally the great benefic. Jupiter has beautiful, lucky, blessing, expansive energy. But the 10 and Jupiter, the like shadow aspects of it, are that it's too much too fast. So the pace of things, especially once we move into mid-February and we go into that fire horse terrain, the pace of things is going to pick up pretty substantially. I would imagine these next 6 weeks, this first part of the year, the wood snake is going to drag on the wheel of destiny a little bit, just drag on the wheel a little bit. So you might not quite pick up momentum till mid-February. So what I would say to you is use this month, like this January month, we have all these planets in Capricorn. There's just something very functionally helpful about this time, about this January time. And you want to imagine that once the wood snake falls away and the fire horse takes the lead, there's just a lot. So Jupiter, right? Jupiter, fire horse, you can get dizzy thinking about it. It's just a lot of energy. So whatever you need to do in these next 6 weeks to really ground and center your year, what are you anchoring into? What matters to you? What are you hoping to accomplish? And not from a resolution standpoint, although that's helpful if you like those, more from what am I devoted to? What matters to me? Where's my eye? Where's the North Star? What's the thing I'm going to stay focused on? Because that might shift if like the pace of the year might be so quick that you might be meeting your goals or meeting your manifestations, or things just you might be like, I'm going to take this year to do X, and then you find it's done in the first 2 months. So there's just like a quickness and expansiveness that is really beautiful, very benefic, and fast and big, like just a lot. And so anything that is maybe out of whack is going to get amplified with that bigness. Does that make sense? The energy is going to expand in all ways. One of the things that you can get yourself in trouble with around Jupiter energy or Wheel of Fortune energy is if you have a bad habit or some kind of addictive habit that you can become almost gluttonous in it. And so you just want to have that awareness that that's a possibility and know what you need to do to pull on the brakes. Like, what do you need to do to turn the brakes on, to settle things down when they feel like they're moving too fast. So that's just kind of a thought for the whole of the year, the thought for 2026 in general. So much is possible. The terrain is shifting. Magic. I mean, magic is with the Wheel of Fortune. This is fated events. This is fated circumstances. This is a partnership you could only dream of across many dimensions. This is the right people, the right time, the right place, the right time. This is nothing meant for you is going to pass you by. It's all of that energy. And because there's so much of it, and because we've been in this extended contraction, it's just the pace differential you might notice that in your body. And that was the energy that came in with the first card of the week, that first January 2nd podcast I did was the Chariot card. And it felt like this sucking in before a great movement forward, before a great momentum forward. And so just, we're in that. So just being patient with yourself and knowing what you need to do to ground yourself and being excited about the expansion, but not letting the expansion have its way with you, like not getting carried away. And maybe you're going to get carried away, but ideally the idea is that you don't get carried away, that you learn how to ride it in a way that feels exciting and nourishing without feeling out of control or scary in any way. That's the energy of 2026, the most simple way of speaking about the numerology. The Wheel of Fortune, there is a destiny quality to it, and the cards I pulled for January in particular echo that. So this idea of the destiny win, this idea again of showing up at the right place at the right time. If things are leaving your life in a 10-year, it's different than a 9-year. Like 9 years, there's like the pulling away, there's the I wish it wouldn't go energy. In a 10-year, if things leave your life, you probably are going to feel relieved. Like you probably want to travel more lightly in a 10-year. You probably want this idea of what's next, what else. There's just this kind of hunger, restlessness, a kind of restlessness. All of that's going to come up in the Wheel of Fortune year. You're going to be hungry, like hungry for a new experience, a new connection, a new collaboration, a new endeavor, a new skill, a new craft. There's just going to be this hunger to you and in the world. And what's interesting is because we are just coming out of this long cycle of investigating Taurian energy, was it Pluto or Uranus that was in Taurus? These fundamental ideas of what do I value have been up for so many of us to review. So it's interesting to think about this idea of hunger from a place of almost like the things you thought you wanted were stripped away. And then you were in this kind of raw liminal space for a hot minute with the wood snake and with the 9-year. And now it's like your appetite's waking back up. It's like when you've been sick and you lose your appetite and then you know you're getting better because your appetite comes back. It's a little bit like that. And it's interesting. So many people are going through this moment right now, the GLPs or whatever, the medicines that you take that reduce your appetite. And so people are in this really interesting moment where what they were hungry for, they're not hungry for that anymore. And they talk about those medications impacting your libido. They talk about those medications impacting your addictions, like things that you needed before that you were sticky with. What does it mean that the drug of our time is this drug that makes you less hungry? And that's beautiful in some ways, it like reduces a lot of noise and a lot of confusion for people. It makes people get to a place they've always wanted to get to. And what does it mean when our appetites disappear? I'll be so curious this year about where the pendulum swings in the other direction and where we get hungry again, like where we begin to reclaim. And this came up in a meditation, reclaim your mythic appetite. What does it mean to have a mythic appetite, an appetite for life? I think that's going to come up in this in this year ahead. The other language that really comes up for me is this idea of the destiny wind, allowing yourself to be carried on the destiny wind. A real appreciation this year for what comes without your effort, what comes into your space just because it's ripe and ready. And I was speaking with a girlfriend earlier today, this idea of you work at something, but sometimes you have to show up and stay devoted and stay in the movement because you know it's right. You have to sit there longer than you want to before it's ripe and ready, before the movement comes. And I'm telling you, I just kept feeling that when we were talking about the chariot energy, this like pulling in and this great burst of movement forward. Everything's going to be nested differently. So if everything we talked about last year was nested in this idea of the hermit, the 9, everything this year is going to be nested in terms of the wheel of fortune. So if it was nested in this idea of what am I pulling away from? What am I learning? What do I value? What do I carry when I move lightly through the world? What are the necessities here on the path? And now there's this idea of, okay, we're going to nest into what opportunities are coming. Where am I getting excited? What am I meeting? Where's my mythic appetite? The sense of the horizon line, and what might be coming into shape in my life, and how might the terrain be shifting, and how might I find myself in quite a different place. We covered some ground in the 9 year. We're going to cover a more material, more actual ground in the 10 year. So that'll be interesting to see how that shows up. Okay, so brings us to January. It brings us to January. The Magician is always the card of January. So the Magician is the first card in the major arcana, and it's always with us in January. I know people are on this kick right now where they're like, January is not even the beginning of the year. That's Aries season. And yeah, kind of. And also, we want to admit it or not, we're in the story, we're in the collective hypnosis of the year starting in January. So there's a part of us that is getting our stuff together in January. The only thing you really have to focus on in January is what's working, what's not. It's very Capricorn energy. Like, where are the systems working? Where are they not working? And this idea of I'm going to take control. I'm going to notice what I care about, and I'm going to get clear on what I want to happen next. That's the Magician card. So like, we have to maybe be open to the fact that there are multiple timelines running in our system at the same time. So we've talked on this podcast a lot about linear time versus mythic time, or linear time versus quantum time. But also, there's the seasonality, there's the astrological calendar, there's the solar return, there's the lunar return. There's so many ways in which the world is telling a story, and there's many stories happening at the same time. So I don't think you need to throw out January and resolutions with the bathwater. There's something about the quiet dark of the winter that helps you reevaluate what you plan to blossom into come spring. There's work happening here. So it's interesting that we want to dismiss this first part of the year. There's a deathing going on. There's no deathing going on without a beginning orientation to what will be born. So we don't want to dismiss this dark, void, composting moment. Just because it's a void, just because it's a quiet, pausing space, doesn't mean it's a dead space. And it doesn't mean it's not a fertile space. And so we want to just appreciate that, yes, there are additional changes in the calendar moving throughout the year, but this moment matters. And who you choose to be in this darkness, in this void, in this quiet, it says a lot. And it plants an energy that you are going to then nurture into the next part of the year. Don't discount that. There's a reason why the Magician is the first card and it aligns with the first month of the year. There's a reason why Capricorn energy rattles you a little bit and says, get serious about what you care about, what you value. So the Magician card is always here with us. That means January is a great month for manifestation. Am I the only one saying this? Maybe, but I think it's true. And I know that the goals I set for myself, when I set this into a feeling state of what matters to me, what do I value, and what do I plan to feed and nurture over the rest of this year, magical things happen. So we want to value what this time is about. And according to the tarot and according to numerology, this time is about planting clarity in the field. It's about communicating between your spirit and the material. It's about bringing harmony there. And it's about saying, I have power. Again, I am a simple human, and yet I am God in drag. So I'm a simple human, and yet I am creating the universe as I respond to life. And I heard this guy on TikTok did this like very simple thing about the quantum field and about some researcher just post Einstein that helped us really understand. I guess he's the father of manifestation in some ways, but he didn't really talk about manifestation. He said that the universe is a responsive universe. So it's not a punishing universe, it's not a totally benevolent universe, but it's a responsive universe. And the first thing it's responding to is your identity. And there's 3 layers of what it's responding to, but it's responding to the story you're telling. So the story you're telling about yourself, about the world, about what you're capable of, about what you're not capable of, what you have to do, what you get to do, that whole story is a song you are singing out to the universe, and the universe is a responsive universe. So it's going to reflect that back to you, probably add to it, probably challenge it and question it, but it's going to create the world that you expect to see in front of you. And so that alone should say to you, get serious about the story you're telling, get serious about the song you're singing and how you might want to edit it or change some notes or change some words or expand it into something new so that you can then maybe experience a more expansive world, a different world, a more loving world, a better world for yourself and for everyone involved. Okay. Magician energy. And then we have the Justice card, which is number 11. So the 10 of the Wheel of Fortune plus the 1 of the Magician brings us to the Justice card. 11, fast-moving energy. So like I said, the 10 already has this kind of abundant, expansive, bigger than energy to it. And the 11 is swift movement. It's like moving faster than you expected. It's greasing the rails a little bit. So you're already headed in a direction. When the Justice card comes up, it's going to just give you a little bit more wind at your back. It's going to grease the rails a little bit. Like I said in that first podcast, it's going to sweeten the pot a little bit. It's going to move you a little faster with a little more momentum. I just want you to take a second and look at these 2 cards together. These are very upright cards. So these are not cards of confusion. They're not cards of circling around the issue. They're not cards of malleability. The Magician is I am, and the Justice is I serve or I love or I correct. And so there's a lot happening here. This is not a soft energy, and it's not like a malleable energy. It's to be impacted, but it's also has a force to it. It has a momentum and a power to it, and like a verticality, a linear, and not linear like linear time, linear like single-minded focus. There's something that wants to get worked out this month, and everyone's pretty clear about what that is. So like you're pretty clear about what that is. The universe is pretty clear about what that is. The higher self is pretty clear about what that is. The collective is pretty clear about what that is. So there's something that wants to get resolved or manifested or moved towards, and it's happening in a way that where there's just not a lot of confusion. It doesn't feel confusing at all. The Magician and the Justice card together, one of the things that I get from these 2 cards together is this sense of and more. So the sense of there's this in my life and more. There's this for me and you. There's this and this. There's something about the energetics of yes and. So we know that from Improv 101. In improv, you never say no. You always say yes and. You're building on what exists. You're building on the goodness, the cleverness, the fun that's already in play. It comes back to the same analogy I keep getting. You're all in. There's something you have pushed all your chips to the center, and the universe is saying yes and. The universe is sweetening the pot. The universe is greasing the rails. So I'm just going to be curious about how much ground you cover in the month ahead. The idea here is that it's me, so my manifestation, what I want to create, but I'm also thinking about you, but I'm also thinking about my community, but I'm also thinking about the impact. It's actually quite beautiful because it's pleasure and satisfaction and power, but also inclusivity, also expansiveness, also wrapping my arms around you and saying, I really want this and I want it for you. I really hope to go to this place. Do you want to come? There's just something about the yes and, not just for me to get and achieve and have, but for me to have and also share and also give to you. So something really lovely about it comes back to that Jupiter expansiveness, that wheel of fortune. I want so many beautiful things, and I want them for you as well. There's just like this really lovely quality, this something about the manifestation, the desire, the willpower of the magician brought into context of something larger than itself. I like it. I didn't see it at first, but I see it now, and it's quite beautiful. And there's just a strength and a power and a firmness to it that's feels pretty undeniable, a little bit intimidating, but in a good way. It feels like a call up, the universe being like, stand up, dude, you're all in, let's go. There's just a little bit of a calling out and a calling up. There's something in men's work, you say that. You want to call men up into their best, boldest, strongest, fiercest self. The sense of the universe being like, get up, stand up, let's do this. And you could feel that in the air since the new year. There's a momentum and a sick of it, sick of shedding, sick of pausing, sick of being patient, like kind of let's do this. So that feels really interesting that it's here. And again, this yes and. Yes, I want all these things, and I want you to have it, and I want you to feel good. I want to play with you, and I want to be a safe place for you. That those things can coexist at the same time. So for you, what's the yes and? Like this thing I want, but I'm going to ask for it in this dimension. I'm going to widen the frame and say, I'm going to have this beautiful thing, and I want to add this to it. Okay. And then the other cards I got, it was such a beautiful pull. And there was a lot of red and pink in the cards. So just the sense of passion. So we have Echinacea Destiny. Then we have the Martyr card. And the light attribute of the Martyr card is the transcendent desire to serve yourself and the world, which comes back to that yes and energy. Yeah, I want to achieve things and accomplish things and be successful. And I want that for everyone, and I want you there with me. Again, this inclusivity, that's really beautiful. And a fierce inclusivity. No one is free until everyone is free. It has a little bit of that energy to it. Anchor to Fly. I love this Kuan Yin deck, and this is a beautiful card. This is the idea. I can be safe and I can be free. I can be in pleasure and I can also be getting so much done. So there's just this interesting collapsing of maybe polarities or things that you felt like had to sit apart from each other that's here with you. And it feels really good. It feels really expansive. Like, oh my God, I didn't know it was possible. I know I can have both those things at the same time. So maybe in the past you felt like you had to divide up, or if I'm allowed this, then I can only have this, or I'm only allowed this big a piece of pie. And this is the universe expanding for you and with you, that there's more possible. And then Our Lady who sends the angels. These 4 cards together have a sense of protection, have a sense of destiny, and a sense that there's something in you, your better angels, moving into this year connected to your better angels. And I don't know, there's just this lovely feeling of I'm allowed to want, and I'm also allowed to get you what you want. So this is really beautiful collaborative success, collaborative growth. And the animal card I pulled for us is Frog card, which I love, which seems like, oh, a little frog, but there's something really lovely about the frog's invitation to heal. And so together, if you put all these things together, you just get the sense that, coming back to what I said in the beginning, what we value, learning how to reclaim our mythic appetite. So to value something because I value it, but I value it not just for the impact it has on me, but for the impact it has on you. And we've just, for so long, avoided reckoning with the impact of our desires. And you could say that in so many different ways. And there's something about right living, like getting in alignment with, I can have what I want, I can achieve and attain what I value, and it can be good for you too. Like you can be okay too. You can also have what you want. The beautiful confrontation of scarcity mindset. And I feel like you're going to see it in action. This idea of I can have both and. Yes and. Yes and, universe. Sweeten the pot. Okay. That's cool energy. Let's check back in at the end of January and see how that all lands. So what would your advice be in this month ahead? Ask for what you want and go after what you want and believe that you're allowed to have what you want. And also keep in mind the impact. Keep in mind who's coming with you, who are you going to bring with you on this journey. There actually can be a little bit of a wound around feeling like you have to do this by yourself, and something about that gets called up for consideration. So it could be that you're anchoring into spirit. It could be that you're anchoring into another person. It could be that you're asking for help from your angels. It could be asking for help from real people in your community. But I like this confrontation of the idea that we have to do it alone, because it feels like maybe we're learning that we can build something more beautiful together than we can build on our own. I think it's been a lonely year for a lot of people. And I find myself surrounded by so many good people and so much love. Like, I was thinking, I came back from town and I went to yoga and I had tea with a friend, and I literally saw 5 women that I adore. Like, I saw 5 women that inspire me, that I am curious about their lives, that I think they're badass. My community is so rich, and I have so much love in my home, and it still was a lonely year. It was still a hard year. And so I just think that's okay. And then, so what do I want to do with that energy? If I have a sense of loneliness, what would ease that? Or what is the medicine for that? Or what is the opportunity there? And I feel that here. Like, the magician and the justice are so beautiful and so aligned and so powerful, but there's something about maybe they need to hang out more. Maybe they should spend a little time giggling and relaxing together too. Okay, that's what I got for you for the numerology and the tarot for January. Let's hold, please, and I will pull some cards for everybody. Okay, so first off, let's just say that underneath both these decks is the Ten of Swords and the Phoenix. The Ten of Swords is you're done. Phoenix is rising from the ashes. And the Ten of Swords reverse is like the Phoenix. So, hey, whatever's happening for you this month is a whole new you. I just wanted to sing. I don't sing, but just wanted to sing A Whole New World by Aladdin. That's the way it feels, like a whole new world. So whatever is going on, wherever you find yourself, you are not the same. The world is not the same. And maybe it's a good reminder to meet everything as much as we can with fresh eyes, as much as we can have a beginner mindset approaching all things. What might happen? If you imagine that you are safe, if you imagine that you are a safe place for yourself, that you're going to take good care of yourself, the world becomes a much less unsafe place, because you know that you're trustable. You know that you're happy, healthy, clear, and you know when to say no and you know when to say yes. So you know when to say not yet. You know when to go a little closer. You know when to move a little further away. So many, many, many of us have done that over this past year. We've become a safe place for ourselves. So there's something about the burning it all down in 2025, because it was a crazy year and now you're not there anymore. So don't take it with you. Don't carry any of the residue with you. Try to really see this month, this year, as a fresh start. All right, Capricorn, you got the sun and snake energy. So the sun is beautiful, right? It's like happiness. It's the happiest card in the deck. It's joy, it's play, it's freedom, it's ease. And the snake, weird, freaking wood snake, we cannot escape it. The snake is rebirth, it's transformation, it's staying close to the earth, it's feeling your belly on the ground, it's the physical environment. When I look at these two cards together, it says be good to yourself, Capricorn. There might be an instinct this month to seek validation for your light from other people. So, like, do you see me? Am I shiny? Am I pretty? Do you like me? And there's something about the snake energy coming in to clarify the sun that says to me, like, be your own warmth. It doesn't mean you don't share it. It doesn't mean you don't get to have beautiful validation, but just keep reminding yourself, like, am I pouring it all out there? Am I all the way out there? Or is there a part of me that's also kind of stoking my own fire, stoking my own warmth, like being my own, best lover? So there's something here about the lesson. It feels less like it's all going to be so fun and more like there's a little bit of a lesson of, right, I want to be the warm golden light that pours over everyone I love. And have I poured that over myself first? Something about the way the snake card is showing up feels like it's a bounding of your own energy and a reminder that, like, you are the fun, you are the light, you are the power. And maybe there's some desire to kind of pour that back into yourself, to turn that your own light back into yourself. So it's kind of an interesting message to come through, Capricorn. Yeah, let yourself bathe in your own light a little bit before you split out and share it out with the whole world. Aquarius, Queen of Pentacles and Crocodile. I feel like you guys had Queen of Pentacles recently. But Queen of Pentacles, so Aquarius, not your vibe. You're like Queen of Swords or Queen of Wands, maybe, but you usually have more of a kind of like a momentum about you. This is a little bit still unstable. And Crocodile is ancient wisdom. There's something ancient about the crocodile energy. So Aquarius, what this says to me about your month is that it feels quiet, first of all. It's like the first thing I'll say. But quiet in a way that wow, it feels like incredibly quiet. It feels very quiet. It feels like the energy of stability around you, which feels really nice. It feels like there's this kind of something settling or calming inside of you that feels really good. The crocodile, normally I would say, yeah, like this ancient wisdom, it feels more like a whisper of something ancient calling you forward. It's interesting. Okay, so it's very quiet, and you almost need something to wake you up, to whisper in your ear, to inspire you, to get you to move. With the Pentacles, the Queen and King in particular, and the Knight, actually, there can be this kind of stillness that settles in, this inertia that settles in, that we can confuse with safety. So, like, if I move more slowly, if I settle a little bit more, then I can stay here and be safe. And there's something about that that has served you or is serving you. And then there's some, oh, it's so funny. I hear it like an ancient wind. It's like something whispers in your ear, something awakens in you that requires you to get a little uncomfortable or to maybe move a little, I want to say prematurely, like move faster than you think you should. So there's just maybe a little bit of a conflict between the part of you that's like, I'm good, I'm settled, I'm still, I like it here. And then something gnawing at you, like something ancient gnawing at you. It could be the idea of an ancient place. It could be some old thing that used to matter to you that you've forgotten about that kind of wakes up. It feels a little bit like a monster waking up or a sleeping dragon getting disturbed. And I'm actually so curious, Aquarius, what this is going to look like in your life. But be open to hearing it. Be open to the dragon or the crocodile that starts kind of like whispering in your ear. There's some important thread to follow there. Okay, Pisces, you have Death and Lizard. Okay, this is cool. So Death card is obviously about transformation, regeneration, rebirth, very much Phoenix energy. And the Lizard card is about our pleasure and feeling good in our skin and taking our time and our sensitivity to the environment and only being in environments that feel good to us, like seeking out the right environments and then not discounting how important that is. Something about your energy, there's something changing, there's something shifting, and a recognition, a part of you that's like, oh, I don't have to go to places that I don't like anymore. I don't have to be in environments. I don't have to settle for environments that don't nourish me, feed me, leave me feeling good. I'm allowed to only go to places that feel good, that are aligned, that feel like they're right for me. So there's something interesting about the part of you that felt like you had to suffer or struggle, or that there was some, like martyrdom in staying in an environment that just didn't feed you, kind of was dry or cold or just not pleasing. And there's something about that part of you falling away, and you can doubt it. You can be like, oh, I don't know, am I really allowed? And there's a part of this lizard that's like, you sure are, baby. And so I like this idea of you feeling like you can drop the part of you that felt like you had to make it work and embrace the places that just feel good. Like you're allowed to do that, Pisces. Permission from me and from the tarot to only be in places that feel good to you, that like make you feel good. That's pretty interesting. All right, Pisces. Aries. All right, Aries. Welcome to your month. The Lovers and Panther. This is no joke. Obviously, the Lovers is connection and union, but it's also decision point, a fork in the road, a question of harmony and where you're going to seek out harmony. When the Lovers card comes up, we often have to make a decision. It was to choose one thing or the other. There's a way in which we can't harmonize the two things together. They like create a natural fork, a natural inflection point where we have to choose. And maybe it doesn't mean we're not going to come back to it, but at this point we have to choose. And the Panther is about ripping away the false mask, ripping away the shadow. It's about metabolizing, eating of the shadow. Together, that says to me that it says to me, okay, ready? You're done fucking around when it comes to relationship. You're done fucking around when it comes to union. And there's some part of you that's getting fierce about this. And so the decisions you make them from that place of fearness and make them from that place as I'm not fucking around anymore. So if you have to make a bold movement or you have to make a decisive movement, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to make the clear choice. You're not going to lose out. There's, again, coming back to what I keep saying, this is a month to go all in. The universe is going to applaud that, support that, and, up the ante, like sweeten the pot for you. So if you find yourself at a crossroads or if you feel yourself having a conversation around union, trust like the fierce instinct in you over the need to make it nice, the need to make it pretty, the need for it to look good. There's something fierce and clear coming up for you in this realm of union, harmony, decision-making, inflection points, and you will be applauded and awarded for choosing like what aligns with your fierce heart over any other parameters. I heard it again, like I'm done fucking around. So, okay, Aries, nobody doubts you, King, Queen, nobody doubts you. All right, so that's cool for Aries. For Taurus, you have the frog like everyone else does for this month. So that's a double reminder to go easy on yourself. The same way that Pisces is being invited to only be in environments and spaces that nourish them, you are being invited to only be in environments and places where you are being restored, where you're being poured back into. And you have that card with the 7 of Wands. So the same way that Aries is like, no more fucking around. This is like fierce protection of your healing space, of your boundaries, of your nourishment. You want to think about the frog as having incredibly porous skin. And I think Kim Krantz, when she talks about this card, she talks about this idea of the frog needing to like absorb the moisture from the environment. And the 7 of Wands is about creating a safe space for ourselves, protecting our right to be, speaking up for ourselves. So there's something about it you can feel. I mean, it looks like he's going to hurt him, which we don't want that. But there's a sense of him protecting the space for the frog to get the nourishment that they need. So don't be afraid to take up more room for your healing than other people might like. Like there's a sense of you need what you need. And by now, Taurus, you know what you need on some level, or whatever your area of life pings for you in this. And so don't be afraid to say that out loud, to declare that and to stand up for that. You just might need a little bit more this month, Taurus. Something about it feels like you just might need a little bit more. And I'm going to leave it as loose as that. And you have a right to it. And the frog energy would say like, that's right on time. There's kind of an absorption of a little bit more than you need for good reason. So we might not know what the reason is yet, but there's a good reason for it. Gemini. This is such a Gemini mix. I don't even know what to say about it. Okay, 2 of Swords and the Fish. So the 2 of Swords is Horns of a Dilemma, having to make a decision. It's thinking about both sides of a challenge or a question or wherever you are, whatever you're kind of up against. And the Fish is like a total lack of boundaries, swimming with the current, not knowing, what's up and what's down. So there's a lot of fluidity for you this month, Gemini, a lot of movement. It's mental, but it's also emotional. So I would be aware of where your mental body and your emotional body are conversing, what they're saying to each other, what that dialogue's like, what that flow is like, how It's this idea of in therapy when you're like, how do you feel? And then they tell a story about how they feel. And you're like, no, what's it feel like? Like, what's the feeling? Not what do you think about the feeling, but what's the actual feeling? There's something, Gemini, about you navigating that like bifurcation and then understanding how to maybe make those two things come together. And what's interesting is that that idea of like, don't believe everything you think. It's like your emotional body is having one experience that's very much in flow, a little out of control, which you're not going to like, but kind of in flow. Like it's figuring something out. It's working with the currents. It's like experiencing the river. And then your mind is like, yeah, but what should I do? And so maybe the permission this month is just to explore the river and trust the current, like trust where it's taking you and don't overthink it. Gemini, Cancer. Cancer, you win. Ace of Cups and Swan is a beautiful combination. Ace of Cups is falling in love. It's your heart. It's overflowing. It's so much love. I want to share it. It's something precious I want to keep close. And the Swan is beauty. So falling in love with beauty, falling in love with the beauty of another person, falling in love with the beauty of a place, falling in love with the beauty of yourself. There's something just incredibly heart opening, heart expansive about it, and just lovely. So I don't know what this means for you, Cancer, but this is a month for you to make beautiful art, if that's your thing, to write beautiful poetry, to write like love letters to yourself or to other people. It's an incredibly inspired energy and heart-based inspiration. So I get to keep it simple because it's just a really beautiful combination. I couldn't even think of something to say to like be like, think about this or watch this, because these two cards together is like, why are we here? We're like here to make love and make art, and that's what these two cards are about. So enjoy that, Cancer. And maybe there's something about this full moon that's activating something very tender inside of you that then comes to this place of exploration or release. It's really lovely. Kind of jelly, Cancer. All right, so Cancer and then Leo. Okay, little Leo. King or Knight of Swords and Firefly. That's fast energy. You're gonna like that. Similar to Capricorn, though, the way it was like the sun and the snake, and how it might at first look like, oh, you should shine for everyone, and then it's like, but are you shining for yourself? There's something here about inspiration and desire to move on that inspiration and to share that inspiration and just watch recklessness. That's like the best way I would say it. And don't burn out. The Firefly and the Knight of Swords both have the energy of burnout. They both like shine really bright, and then but they don't last very long. Like the Knight of Swords is a great burst of energy, but then he fades. And the Firefly is a great burst of light, but then it fades. So that alone might mean something to you, this kind of like burst and then extinction burst. I know it's like a weird phrase, but that is coming into mind. So it's like this kind of like, don't burn yourself out. Like you burn too bright and then you fall back, or you rush in and then you fall back. There's something about modulation, and there's also something about enjoying those bursts. Like maybe you're actually going to be fueled by kind of the polarity of that. Like there's gonna be moments this month where you're like wide open, all in, and there's gonna be moments where you have to draw all the way back. There's something about that back and forth that, again, may feel overwhelming, may feel really good, may be inspiring, may just feel true for you. But yeah, the only thing I would say is like just watch the potential for burnout this month. And then Leo, who comes after you? Virgo, you have the Knight of Wands and the Buffalo. This is the opposite of that. This is like so excited and so passionate and so motivated and a little bit like like out of control. You're so excited. But having this buffalo energy makes it more grounded. So it's like this idea of like whipping around and looking like a little wild, but there's something very strong and clear tethering you. So it's almost like learning to hold more power, more energy, more movement, and being just kind of goofy about it. But that's okay. Like it feels very innocent and clear. There's just going to be a lot of power, and I'm excited and I'm all over the place about it, and I'm going to maybe be a little goofy about it, but it's tethered into something so big and wide and safe that that's okay. That's kind of cool, Virgo. What did I say about that? Like, trust the messiness a little bit. Trust yourself with messiness. Trust yourself with going a little overboard, getting a little excited, being a little goofy. And there's something actually really quite charming about it. So I hope you can do that. That feels good, Virgo. Libra, judgment and the oyster. This feels like a moment, like a judgment moment. It feels like a realization where you look up and you just notice something you've been missing or something's been cultivating. Like the pearl is really popping up here, even though you don't see the pearl in this card. I'm really thinking about the fact the pearl is like an irritation that gets made into something beautiful. The pearl is the thing hidden inside the oyster. There's something about the opening and the reveal that is just here with you. You're just going to see something unexpected and it's going to shift things for you. And yeah, there's some reveal in it for you, Libra. It feels a little bit like you might be caught a little off guard and know whatever truths come out, whatever doors pop open, whatever pearls pop out, they're for you and they're to help you move into something. Like they're to help you deal with an irritation or to help you put something down that maybe you don't even realize how annoying it is you've had to carry it for so long. So it might be a little bit jarring and it's here for you. It's being revealed to you for a reason. There's a treasure in it, but it might be a little bit like, what? And then it takes you a minute for you to realize that it's a treasure. Scorpio, you have the Four of Cups and the Deer. So Scorpio, this would say similar to what I said for Taurus, like you just want to go easy on yourself this month, like work smarter, not harder, just like take it easy. You might have an intensity, Scorpio, about yourself and about what you want that might get a little bit like graspy or like tight or like frustrated. Frustrated would be the word. And you want to just bring gentleness to it. You want to bring that you're protected. There's something here about noticing. There's something here about listening and observing more than you're speaking or outputting. So there's something here about not hypervigilance, but getting quiet so that you can hear more clearly. Like just, you know how a deer, like when they're in the woods, they're kind of listening and they listen for a long time. And I just imagine they're listening to many layers of what's happening. There's something about that. You might be kind of frozen in one layer of perception. And the invitation here is to just listen a little bit longer than you would normally, because the whole energy with the Four of Cups is frustration, dissatisfaction, because he's looking at these three cups and he's like, none of these cups is what I want. And meanwhile, God source is handing him the perfect cup, handing him stability in terms of this, and he can't see it because he's so hyper focused on the cups. Just think about like expanding your ears in particular, listening a little more carefully, listening a little bit more, a little longer before you jump in and have an answer. That would be helpful here. You might be challenged with frustration this month, Scorpio, and the gentleness, the listening, the quieting down is actually going to soothe your heart more than you realize. And then Sagittarius, you have the Chariot and the Moth. This feels like making moves in the dark. So it feels like you might want to do your own thing and not announce it. There's something that you're excited about that feels super clear and exciting, inspiring, and you want to move towards it and you have no doubt about it. And the Moth is like, but you could just do it at night in a nonlinear way and no one needs to know. So not to be secretive, but to move with a sense of cloaking your energy. So this is solar energy and this is like nighttime energy. And so the solar momentum, but kind of moving at night. It like feels like Not that you don't want to be surveilled or seen, but that this is something for you to experience right now. And no one needs to know every detail of how you bopped around and found what you were looking for. There's something about the contrast between that, like, I know what I want, and then this kind of like meandering way of getting there, and that should happen. That's yours. That's yours to experience. You don't need to take everyone on the journey with you. I don't know why it feels like, yes, you know where you're going, but could you travel there at night until you get there? There's something, I don't know, I feel a sense of wanting to protect you from judgment or from outside eyes. There feels like this kind of need for you to do this in a way that feels um just protected, like cloaked. That's the word that I would use. All right, gang, this was a doozy. Hopefully it was helpful, and sending you so much love. This month should be quite satisfying, quite like a building month. It should be a month where more comes into the field, and there's a collaborative quality to it and a creative quality to it. And again, don't sleep on these dark months. Like, don't sleep on these months because it's dark, nothing's happening. Things are happening, things are always happening. And this idea of the void being a fertile place is something to meditate on and have with you. And here we go into the Wheel of Fortune years. May it be more fun than last year. May it be more something we do together instead of feeling like we're all doing it on our own. And maybe we take it all a little less seriously and know that everything's always shuffling, everything's always in its becoming as we are. And you know what might happen next in the most beautiful, beautiful generative way. All right, friends. Talk to you later. Bye.